Once upon a time, in a vast and beautiful kingdom, there was a kind and wise king named Elias. He ruled not from a grand palace but from a tiny cottage on the edge of a forest. How could this be? The story was as unusual as the king himself. Years ago, King Elias had inherited the grandest palace anyone had ever seen. It was filled with glittering chandeliers, golden walls, and endless rooms. But one day, during a festival, a strong wind carried the sounds of laughter and joy from the village into the palace. The king, curious, wandered outside and saw his people dancing under the open sky. "I live in the most beautiful palace, yet I feel so far from this happiness," he thought. The very next day, King Elias made a bold decision. He gifted his palace to his people, turning it into a grand school and a hospital. A palace should not be a single man's treasure, he declared, but a home for learning, healing, and joy. The villagers were overjoyed, but some advisors were shocked. "Where will you live, Your Majesty?" they asked. "With my people," King Elias replied with a smile. So, the king moved to the forest, where he built a small but cozy cottage. He spent his days walking among the villagers, listening to their stories, and helping wherever he could. He taught children under the shade of trees, planted gardens, and shared meals with the poorest families. Though he had no palace, King Elias' heart was as rich as the golden sun. His kingdom thrived, not because of walls and riches, but because of the love and care its people felt. To this day, people say that King Elias was the richest king to ever live, not in wealth, but in happiness. And every child in the kingdom grew up knowing that even the grandest palace could never match the warmth of a kind heart. And so, the king without a palace became a legend, his story whispered under starlit skies for generations to come.